Auburn beats Alabama State 83-63 to advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo Podcast. Yes, sir. What is up, Auburn family? Survive in advance is what they say this time of year, and that's exactly what our Auburn Tigers did, beating the Alabama State Hornets 83-63. Nice little 20-point dub, Blake. It got a little sketchy there at the end of the first half. Auburn finished it out on a nice run, finished the half out on a nice run, and then kind of put the foot on the gas pedal in the second half and close it out there. So big-time win, man. And earlier in the day, we watched Creighton kind of dismantle Louisville a little bit, so we know that our next opponent's going to be tough. So got a lot to look forward to this coming Saturday, but first things first, you got to win to even get to the next round, and Auburn took care of business, man. So 83-63, nice little 20-point dub here. What do you think about just your initial reaction to the first round victory for our boys?
Thought it was an awful first half. Let's get straight to it. I thought it was absolutely terrible. For you to be the number one overall seed and for you to be as dominant as you were, excuse me, my Alabama buddies are already texting me.
They got about their own deal.
For you to be the number one overall seed, for you to be as dominant as you were all season long, and you come out in that first half and act like you don't even want to be there. That's what got me. Now, second half, I thought that was the Auburn team that we expected to come out and play in the first half. It was much better in the second half. Defense was better. Offense was better. There was some times where we had some silly turnovers and some stupid shots. But the biggest thing for me is Auburn, they've done it all season. We've talked about it all year long. Auburn will get up 10, 13, 15, and then all of a sudden it's like we start trying to put mustard on the hot dog. We want to be the Showtime Lakers. We were just talking about it, Dustin. Mm-hmm. We want to be Magic Johnson running down the court and, lobbing one up or giving up the easy bucket, kicking, out in transition to the three and all this stuff. Hey, put the pedal down to the floor and beat the brakes off somebody. This is a single elimination tournament. Just win, baby. Just beat the piss out of somebody. Go and handle them. I was extremely upset. We were up one with 2 minutes left in the first half and had to go on a 9-0 run. Yeah. Thankful there's a loose ball. It gets kicked out to Miles Kelly and he hits a big three. And that kind of opened things up a little bit, gave us some breathing room. Like it was just awful, man. Dustin, I'll tell you one thing. We're not going to win a national championship shooting free throws like this. We have got to be better from the charity stripe. They're free. They are free. And you look up at one point in the game and Auburn's 8 of 17 from the free throw line against Alabama State. Now, I'm not knocking Alabama State, but obviously, it's a step below in competition. They're a 16 seed. They had to win a play-in game to get to you, and they won it in dramatic fashion. Hey, super proud of Alabama State. They're from the state of Alabama, man. I don't want to down them. I want to give them all the praise. Like, they're 50 miles away from Auburn University, right? Like, it's great that they won. It's great that they made the tournament, all that good stuff. But this is a team where I'm not comfortable with a 20-point dub. I'm not shooting 56% from the free throw line. Like, I'm just not. And I know it's survive and advance. And, I put in the up-tempo group earlier, just win. But that first half really got me because the whole country is watching you. And you just acted like you didn't want to be there. And I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that locker room, because I bet BP got in his bag.
Think so.
I bet he got in his bag. Because that was a pitiful performance. I'll say that's the worst performance of the year. That right there. That first half was the worst performance of the year from Auburn. I was pissed. I was pissed. Uh, I was not happy, man. But look, we got it together in the second half. Janai, I thought he picked it up in the second half, and once again leading Auburn. Denver Jones, I thought that big three out on the wing that he hit. I thought that was a big shot. Obviously, Miles Kelly, he started hot and then he went cold, and then he hit a three to get himself back going again. He loves Rupp Arena. Hopefully, he shows up Saturday. The Chaney Johnson, I think that's another guy that inserted himself, kind of getting back into rhythm, and the Chaney that we really fell in love with. He's been absent a couple games here and there, but today I thought he picked it back up, and we're going to need him Saturday. We're going to need, hopefully, Chris Moore's ankle's okay. Hopefully Cardwell, I know he come back in the game, and he had a big dunk and all that. So hopefully we stay away from the injuries, because we're going to need these cats Saturday, man, because Creighton is not a 9 seed. They're not. I know their season didn't go the way they wanted it to, but they're still a really, really good basketball team. If you watch them today, they can shoot it. They're physical down low. They rebound well. They got a 7-footer who can do it all. So we better be ready to play. If we give a first half performance like this Saturday, we can pack it up and go to the house. Because we're not advancing past the first weekend. If we play like we did today, we're not advancing past the first weekend. Because that Creighton team, they're coached well. They play fundamental basketball. They don't turn it over a lot. They make you make the mistakes. So we got a tough one Saturday, Dustin. I'm a little uneasy right now with it, man. Like I just wanted us to be more crisp. I wanted us to be more fluid and look like the number 1 overall seed. I wanted us to come out and handle business like Houston did. Like just come out hot, man, and look good. And it could be, it could be a good thing. I keep saying, like losing. I think losing was a good thing. We needed to lose some games. And I know people disagree with that. And they're like, oh, you don't never have to lose. You don't have to, but sometimes you need to. It brings you back to reality. And it could be a good thing that we were in a somewhat close game in the first round, because that could go in the locker room, and Bruce Pearl say, hey, that effort isn't going to get it done Saturday.
Right.
It's just not. But one thing I do want to point out real quick is all of the people who spent the time and the energy on social media talking about a second round matchup with Louisville. It's not fair that we have to play them in Lexington. And I put on Twitter the other day, I said, they're not even a lock to win. Yeah, but it's a home game. It's a home game. You think Creighton cared about playing Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky? No, they didn't give a piss. And it showed today. So you spent all that energy, all that time worrying about Louisville, and we're not even playing Louisville. Stop worrying about who we play, where we play them, and all of this stuff. Because guess what? It's a single elimination tournament. It don't matter. Auburn fans were still going to show up. It was probably going to be 60-40 Louisville. Now, you got Creighton. And it was all for nothing. All that talk was for nothing. So that one got me. I mean, I thought it was hilarious watching Louisville get blasted. And I put on Twitter today all that yapping about Louisville. It was for nothing.
When we'd in our bracket challenge with the members, I haven't watched a lot of these teams play, obviously. I picked Clemson to beat McNeese State, and then my brain said, "Oh, the ACC sucks," and I changed my pick. So to your Louisville point, yeah, the ACC is just a really, really bad conference, and that's why Louisville had 2 losses in conference, and they got all the way down there at the 7 seed or whatever they
Yep.
were, 8 seed, 9 seed, whatever they were. Then we had a comment on our last episode saying every other talking head out there disagrees with you fellas. AU has the toughest bracket and for the number 1 seed. They did us no did us no favors. Surprise. Yeah, and our whole point that we were making at the time of that episode a couple of days ago was you're assuming that Louisville's going to beat Creighton, and they didn't. So it's like, yeah, it never goes chalk like that. So I just sitting there and complaining about the bracket, saying, look at this matchup Auburn's going to have in 3 rounds. Well, Auburn's got to make it. Auburn's got to make it there. That other team's got to make it there. And this tournament never ever plays out that way. Miles Kelly coming out the gate, like obviously huge. I was thinking to myself, like, what would his stats be if he transferred to Kentucky? and he played half of his games in a row because apparently my dude loves that arena. And then looking at some of these stats, so Auburn holds Alabama State to 37.7% from the field. That's kind of where I think Auburn really won the game. And if you remember a couple of days ago, I said the one thing I can count on is Auburn's effort defensively, and I never thought that the effort lacked defensively. There was a little bit of a lull there when they went on that run, but a lot of that I just keep knocking this lamp the cord out for this lamp. Sorry, I'm in the dark. I'll fix it in a second. But overall, man, Auburn locked down defensively. Field goals for Auburn, 27 of 60 for 45%. And then he shot 35 threes. He made 11 of them. A lot of those are attributed to Miles Kelly, but 31.4% from the three-point line ain't bad. And then the awful, like we put up on the screen earlier, 18 for 32 from the line for 56.3%. Alabama State didn't do themselves any favors, only making 11 of 19 for 57.9%. And then you did out-rebound them by 9. 16 assists to their 5. Kind of goes back to the defensive point, just breaking up them in the passing lanes, not allowing them to get out in transition and run their offense. And then turnovers, Auburn actually had more. So, yeah, 12 fouls. And then this is the big one to me, Blake. Personal fouls, 26 for Alabama State, 17 for Auburn. I think for the most part today, Auburn was smart in the way they defended. And it kind of stayed out of the stupid foul situations, which is something that we talked about earlier in the week. So I was really impressed with those things. And yeah, just kind of like you said, we look at that first half. Charles Barkley said it at the halftime. He said, "Hey, I don't like the effort here."
Yep.
He said, "I don't like the effort." He said, "I think Auburn thinks that they showed up and they just could win this game." And whatever BP said at halftime, it worked.
Yep.
So yeah, man, Creighton's gonna be a tough matchup. But if Auburn plays their game, Auburn should still win. I think what worries me is I would like to see over the last 25 years or so, what is Auburn's field goal percentage or free throw percentage when the calendar goes to March? Because
shit.
It's just terrible, man. It's terrible, and I'm just petrified that we're going to be in a tough game with Creighton, and it's going to come down to the free throws line, and then I'm really worried. I will say the biggest thing that I take out of today is it's really good to see Chaney Johnson get back and find his groove and play good basketball again. He looked really comfortable. And for Tahav, like he had bad moments, he had good moments. I think right there before the end of the first half, he had that floater when he got into the lane. And I want to see more of that from Tahav Pettiford. Maybe in the next game versus Creighton, his first 2 or 3 field goal attempts need to be inside the paint or good mid-range looks. It's like Tahav wants to get himself going early by taking the 3-point shot. And if you're a young shooter and you're struggling, go to the basket. Don't back away from it. Go to it. Get to the free throw line. Put them in foul trouble. Create better looks for yourself. Work inside out, which Auburn was doing early. Obviously, Alabama State doesn't have an answer for Janai Broome. And then to one of your main points you've made all year, you got up by like 10 or 12, and you said, okay, well, let's do a little bit of this and do a little bit of that. Alabama State made the tournament. They won 20-plus games. They're good enough that if you do that, they'll make a run. That's exactly what happened. I think the turning point for Auburn was you felt so bad. I mean, just like you, I was as mad during that bad stretch in the first half as I've been at this team all year. I was like, are we really doing this? And then that stretch, that the last 2 minutes of the first half, and it's like, okay, well, we played terrible in my opinion, but we're up by 10. So that was kind of the difference in this game. So projecting forward, man, for me, it's You just got to protect the basketball. You're going to have to shoot better from here on out. I don't think you win another game shooting under 65, 70% at the free throw line, unless you just shoot the lights out from three. But I still think that Auburn's going to, obviously your number one overall seed. Like, you got to get past Creighton. I know everyone's super impressed with Creighton. We can go back and look at Auburn's Final Four run. That first round game wasn't the cleanest.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't like it was one of their worst games of that tournament. Probably was the worst game of the tournament, right? Probably the worst they played. So, you won. You got Chandy going a little bit. Hope Simo's okay because we're going to need him. And I mean, man, all you can do is play the games and win, Blake.
Yeah, you got to survive in advance. I'm curious to see how they're going to draw up this game plan for Creighton. That's what I'm really interested to see is how are they going to attack Creighton? I think we can guard Creighton. Like, I know their big man, he poses a threat, but obviously Dylan will have to stay out of foul trouble. Chaney stay out of foul trouble. And Janai, I think he does a great job of staying out of foul trouble. He picked up 3 quick ones today. He had to go to the bench for a little while, and you saw kind of one thing with Janai is sometimes the body language is just off, and I think that might like feed to the other players at times. Like there was a time in the first half where you've seen a little arguing and you've seen some guys and that I don't know, it felt off. It felt off, but that second half, it was like a completely different team come out of that locker room. I love the second half, what we done. Right. The first half was just absolutely brutal to watch. I mean, the first 2 or 3 minutes wasn't, but the final 17-18 was, So I'm interested with this matchup with Creighton. Obviously, like you said, I think if we play our game, we play an A+ game, we can beat them and we can move to the Sweet 16 and continue this fun season. But my biggest concern, Dustin, is definitely free throw shooting, man. Like when I zipped that tweet, I said, we're just not going to win a national title shooting this way from the free throw line. We're not. It's not going to happen. It cost us a national championship in 2019. It's cost us numerous times over the years in the BP era. We can't hit free throws. It cost us, it cost us last week against Tennessee. We can't hit free throws. Tennessee was trying to hand you that game on a silver platter, and you couldn't make your free throws. Janai Broome has to be better. I know he is National Player of the Year to me. He's the leader of this team. He is the guy. But if he can't go and make the front end of a 1-and-1, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. He has got to start making the front end of those. Got to. And it starts Saturday in Lexington against Creighton. Don't let them boys get hot because they can flat out shoot it, and they will run you out the gym. McDermott he's always got them playing tough, man. They've made plenty of runs to the Sweet 16, and they made a little run to the Elite 8 a couple years ago. Like, they are always tournament ready, very well coached. And we have to play 20 times better than what we played today. So it's free throw shooting for me, man. Like, it's gotta be better. It's gotta pick up. And if it doesn't, we're going to end up in heartbreak once again because it's the fastest way to lose a basketball game. That and turnovers. Hell, we started the game with a turnover. I knew right there, I was like, boy, not this way. Not this way. I mean, we're up 1 with 2 minutes left in the first half against Alabama State. Could you imagine if Auburn would have lost to Alabama State in the first round as the number 1 overall seed this year?
I think a lot of Auburn fans were worried about it there for a nice little 20 minutes.
How do you come back to the state of Alabama? How do you come back? Because the team that's 50 miles away from you just took your soul. Like, last year it was Yale. This year it could have been Alabama State. Like, that's how I looked at it. Is we didn't come out fired up. And Chuck said it, like you mentioned on the halftime bracket. It just looked like Auburn come out flat and was like, okay, well, we're about to boat race these dudes by 40. We're 30-point favorites in Vegas. Um, they're from the SWAC. They suck. And obviously they had some dudes that can make plays. They had a couple guys that they were quick, Dustin. They were quick, and they had a couple guys that could shoot a little bit. Obviously, in the second half, I think they got a little desperate and they started just chunking it up there, and it wasn't falling like it was in the first half. But rough first half to watch. It still bothers me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I understand. It was definitely scary there for a while, but I'm just hoping that it was a wake up call, that whatever got said to them at halftime, because everything in the second half improved outside of free throws. It's just the worry is that, like, this next game's probably going to be close. I mean, maybe Auburn comes out and shoots the lights out, and God, if you're Auburn, Blake, you gotta feed Janai. You got to feed Janai, because here's the thing with a team like Creighton. Yeah, they can get hot. They got shooters, and I don't know a whole lot about them. This was honestly the first game I watched them was today. They can get hot, but shooting teams can also get cold. As Will Wade, who might be the future Texas head coach, it turns out. They thought he was headed to NC State. But yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Clemson almost came back. NC State went 69-67 here. And yeah, the rumors are flying on X right now about he still hasn't signed the contract at NC State. But yeah, big win from NC State over Clemson right there. And my theory of just pick against the ACC will continue to work. But I did pick Duke. I picked Auburn over Duke. I do think Duke's a more legit team. But yeah, bro, I mean, this next game is going to be tight. It's going to be tight. I just want to see Auburn come out and feed four.
Yeah.
Feed four, man. And let everything else work out. I know that Auburn's going to play good defense. I like the effort overall on rebounding today. Like I said, there was like a 6 or 7 minute lapse there where the team got up big, and it was like it's crazy to me. I guess what I've noticed is in those lulls in the games, it appears to me where it's like a mental lapse almost, where it's you kind of quit running your offense. You kind of quit running your offense.
Yeah.
And you're just shooting 20 seconds on the shot clock, coming down, shooting a contested three before your guys are even down there and in position to possibly get a rebound. And then we've seen it a lot of times this year versus lesser opponents. And again today, where then Auburn said, oh, okay, we gotta get back to it. It's almost like the kid in school that was like really smart, but it was tough to get him to try, right?
Yep.
It's like, hey man, you could make all A's, but you get C's and B's on your midterm, and then the last 4 weeks you really hunk down and you get all A's. Come out the whole time, bro. Come out the whole time and put your foot on the gas pedal, because that's what you're gonna have to do. And it's not just about effort and energy; it's also about like doing the right things mentally, like making the right decisions, and playing good basketball. And this is a veteran basketball team, and they're gonna have to do that, man, because you're going to be in a tight game. There's going to be 5 minutes left in this game Saturday, and it's going to be up in the air. Like, I don't think that's a wild opinion. So you're going to have to make some important free throws, and there's going to be a few crucial possessions where you're just going to have to execute, and you're going to have to run your offense. And if Auburn does get up, Blake, by 6, 7, 8 on Creighton with under 10 minutes to go, that's not when you jack up a bad three. Roll with the mismatch. If there's a mismatch, roll with it. And I don't like it when it was obvious from the get-go. They don't have anybody that can hold Janai. I'm not sure why Janai didn't go for 30 tonight. Now, I know that Miles Kelly started off, shooting lights out early, but sometimes, man, when this team, when they get up and they get so far away from the basket, and I don't understand it. And it's as bad as Shanny Johnson has been over the last 2 or 3 weeks shooting the ball. He was the guy tonight that kind of fixed that. He was the guy that got the buckets down low and said, okay, we'll get back to this, get back to the post and work outside, which when you have the shooters we have, and again, I'll tell you something else I didn't see a whole lot of tonight that I want to see more of, dude. Denver Jones, get to the bucket, baby.
Yeah.
Get to the bucket. I got to see Denver get to the bucket and get to the free throw line. But then when he gets there, he's got to hit his shots because he's got a good percentage. But lately, it just feels like, the whole team hasn't been hitting them. So I don't want us to come off like we're on here just whining and complaining about a 20-point win in the first round. But it's like you can see some things, and hopefully it's like we alluded to. Hopefully it's that 2019 situation. Hopefully the Auburn comes out versus Creighton, and it's just on and banging, right? And we keep it pushing, but we'll see, man.
It's not. I wanted to pull this up. Jay Patterson 965 says, "Bro, how do you know we won't win? All negativity don't get it." All right, look, we're not being negative. Okay, we won by 20. It's awesome. Like we said, survive and advance, just win. But you got to take the orange and blue goggles off right now. And that's one thing I'm not going to do is sit here and pump you sunshine and tell you that the football team's going 11-1. All right. And then if we keep playing this way in basketball, we're going to win a national championship. This is just not how it works. You got to call a spade and say, hey, look, that was piss poor in the first half. And if you play like that Saturday, you're going to lose. Now, I just walked through this thing on Twitter the other day. Is everybody was hyping up Louisville. Oh, Louisville. I was like, stop. I don't think they're that good. But the thing with Creighton is why you can't overlook Creighton is because, yeah, they're a 9 seed, but they're well coached. He's one of the best in the game. They've made runs in the past. They play fundamental basketball. They don't turn it over. They make the right play. They play really hard on defense. They're really, really coached well. You're not going to see Creighton go down and throw a cheap shot 8 minutes into the game and lose one of their best players. That's just not how they do it. And that's the thing for me is we have to play better in every phase, man. Or you're going to have another early exit, and everybody's going to be talking about what? Auburn can't make it out of the first weekend. I'm not sitting here trying to be negative, dog. I'm just telling you how it is. What we watched in that first 20 minutes, that's piss poor. And I love Auburn just as much as y'all do. But I will not get on this show and say, hey, man, we really killed it today, dog. Like, we beat Alabama State by 20. Let me tell you something. Hey, no. We're not going to do that. I'm sorry. Worst performance of the year in that first half. It was awful to watch. And even your greatest player in program history come out and said, hey, I didn't even want to watch it. It was just piss poor. Just something that they didn't look like they care. So, I mean, second half was great. And we won. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But we will not get on here and just say, oh, man, we're not going to make some corny jokes and post them on Twitter and, talk about all this other crap. No, we're going to tell you how it is, man. And we got to be better from top to bottom. BP's got to be better. These coaches, they got to be better. The players have got to be better. Just how it is, man. You gotta be better at the charity stripe. And that's it. If Auburn hits their free throws, they're going to beat anybody in the country. That's just simple and plain. That's how it is. You're going to beat anybody in the country because you play top-notch defense. You got a really good offense that runs through Janai Broome. You got a sharpshooter with Miles Kelly. You got Denver Jones, great guard play, Tahad, all that good stuff, right? You just got to make free throws. That's it. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, if you keep doing everything else, like you said, over the span of 40 minutes, you'll be okay. Marshall says Creighton will be an easy win. I like the confidence, buddy. I like the confidence, and I'm not gonna be shocked if it is. If Auburn comes out and handles their business and plays basketball the way Auburn's capable of playing, they should beat Creighton by 10 to 12 to 14 points. Like that's talent wise, Auburn's, in my opinion, about a 10 to 15 point better team than Creighton on a
Yeah.
neutral floor. So if Auburn comes out and plays their game, then yeah, for sure. Maine says War Damn Eagle. This game was pitiful though because them free throws were pissing them off. Yeah, it's just about projecting forward. And like I said, Alabama State, they shot in the 50% from the free throw line too. So they kind of helped us out there as well. If both
Yep.
teams shoot pitiful from the free throw line, then Auburn's good. then Auburn should be okay. But you're not going to get that if you want to win. I did it again. Oh my god, you're not going to get that if you for 5 more games if you shoot free throws that way. And it's one of them things, man. And we all know it because it's a bunch of longtime Auburn fans in the chat here, and you guys are all saying the same thing about free throws. Because you all know it. We've all seen it before, right? Like we watched the movie before, and we don't want to watch it again. Ephesians says that AU needs to be 80% from the free throw line. Period. Yeah, it's a solid number to shoot for, man, for sure. So, listen, guys, appreciate you all for watching. Smash that thumbs up button. Sub to the channel if you have not, and we will be back here Saturday to react to what hopefully is a second round dub over Creighton. It's going to be a hard fought game. Look. Auburn hasn't had a whole lot of success lately getting out of the first weekend, but Auburn's pretty damn good in the first round. So, I mean, what is it, like third all-time coming into today? Third all-time record in the first round, and probably advances. I don't know who second and first was, but solid record in the first round. But you don't hang banners for the first round. And this Auburn team has been the best team in the nation all year. The goal should be and always should be to win the banner or win the championship, hang that banner in Neville Arena for the first time ever. This is as good a chance as you're ever going to have to do it. This is as good a chance you're ever going to have to do it. And, to kind of elaborate on what Blake was saying there about not sunshine pumping, that's the lens that we're looking at this basketball team through. Is that I expected you to win the first round. So I'm glad you went out there and handled your business. But we're projecting forward. This team is more than capable, obviously, the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, of winning the whole thing. But they got to play better. They got to do the little things better. So we'll be back Saturday, man, to react to it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that thumbs up button on your way out. We'll see y'all next time, man. It's War Damn Eagle, baby.
War Damn.